people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, putting crazy pictures that
Nobody's linked her address. Shut the fuck up.
Nothing about
What really happened after the latest on-court clash involving Caitlin Clark, and why has the entire basketball world suddenly found itself debating player safety once again? What started as another intensely physical WNBA matchup quickly turned into one of the most talked about moments of the season, with fans, analysts, former players, and media personalities all offering completely different interpretations of the same incident. Then, just when it seemed the conversation couldn't get any bigger, Sophie Cunningham publicly weighed in, and her comments immediately fueled another wave of heated reactions across social media. Some fans believe Clark has been receiving unusually physical treatment since entering the league, while others argue that tough defense is simply part of professional basketball. The disagreement has divided the basketball community like never before, and every new interview or post seems to add even more fuel to the fire. In today's video, we're breaking down everything, from the on-court sequence and the reactions that followed to what Sophie Cunningham actually said, how Alyssa Thomas responded, and why this story has become one of the biggest discussions in the WNBA right now. Stay with us until the end, because some of the strongest reactions came long after the final buzzer, and they may completely change how you view this controversy. The controversy didn't begin during a post-game interview or on social media. It started in the middle of a highly competitive game where every possession mattered, every whistle was questioned, and every bit of contact was being watched by millions of basketball fans across the country. As the pace of the game intensified, Caitlin Clark once again found herself at the center of a physical sequence that immediately caught everyone's attention. The play happened quickly. There was contact, Clark went down, and within seconds fans online were replaying the moment from every possible camera angle. Some viewers believed it was simply hard playoff-style basketball. Others argued the contact crossed the line and deserved a much harsher response from the officials. Within minutes, clips of the play spread across social media. Basketball pages, sports commentators, and fans began posting slow-motion replays, each offering a different perspective. One side insisted that physical defense has always been part of the sport and that every star player learns to deal with it. Another side claimed that the league has a responsibility to protect its biggest talents from unnecessary risks. That difference in opinion quickly became the biggest story of the night. Instead of celebrating the game itself, nearly every conversation shifted toward the controversial play. Television analysts debated whether the officials handled the situation correctly. Former players discussed how similar moments would have been judged in previous eras. Even casual sports fans who don't normally follow the WNBA suddenly joined the conversation, making it one of the league's most discussed topics. As the debate grew louder, attention turned toward the players involved. Everyone wanted to know whether emotions would carry over after the final buzzer. Would there be another statement? Would the league review the play? Would anyone face additional discipline? Those questions dominated sports talk shows and online discussions for hours. Then another development pushed the story even further. Sophie Cunningham entered the conversation. Known for playing with intensity and speaking her mind, Cunningham's public comments quickly gained attention. Supporters praised her for standing up for a fellow player and speaking openly about the importance of protecting athletes. Critics, however, argued that emotional reactions can sometimes make already heated situations even more difficult to manage. Regardless of which side people supported, one thing became obvious. The discussion was no longer just about one possession. It had become a much larger conversation about how physical professional basketball should be, where officials should draw the line, and whether today's stars receive enough protection on the court. Meanwhile, reporters continued asking players about the incident before and after practices. Every interview produced another headline. Every answer generated thousands of new comments online. Every opinion seemed to create another debate. The WNBA suddenly found itself dominating sports conversations well beyond its usual audience. One reason the story gained so much attention is Caitlin Clark's enormous popularity. Since entering the league, nearly every game she plays attracts significant media coverage. Ticket demand, television ratings, and social media engagement have all increased dramatically around games involving Clark. Because of that spotlight, moments involving her often receive far more public attention than similar plays involving other athletes. That reality has created two very different viewpoints. Some believe greater attention means officials should be especially careful to protect one of the league's biggest stars. Others argue that every player deserves the exact same standard regardless of popularity. Neither side appears willing to back down. As fans continued debating the incident, countless former coaches and basketball analysts reminded viewers that physical competition has always been part of the game. They pointed out that basketball moves at incredible speed, making it difficult for officials to judge every collision perfectly in real time. At the same time, others emphasized that player safety must always remain the league's highest priority. Finding the balance between competitive basketball and protecting athletes has never been easy. That challenge became the center of nearly every discussion surrounding this game. Adding even more attention to the situation were the countless reaction videos appearing online. Some creators analyzed the play frame by frame. Others focused on player interviews. Some criticized the officiating, while others believed the entire controversy had been exaggerated by social media. The internet quickly split into competing camps. Every new video attracted millions of views. Every podcast offered another interpretation. Every headline seemed more dramatic than the last. For basketball fans, it became almost impossible to avoid the discussion. Behind the scenes, reporters continued asking league representatives about player safety, consistency in officiating, and how controversial plays are reviewed after games. Although official procedures already exist for evaluating incidents, many fans wanted clearer explanations about how certain decisions are made. Those unanswered questions only fueled additional speculation online. Meanwhile, both teams attempted to shift their attention back toward upcoming games. Coaches emphasized preparation. Players focused on practice. Yet the controversy refused to disappear. Every press conference returned to the same topic. Every interview included another question about the incident. Every appearance generated another viral clip. The basketball itself almost became secondary to everything happening around it. And just when it seemed the conversation had finally reached its peak, another round of public reactions began circulating across television programs and digital platforms, bringing even more opinions into an already divided debate. As new interviews emerged and additional voices entered the discussion, one thing became clear. This story was far from over. In fact, the biggest reactions, and perhaps the biggest questions, were still waiting to come. By the following day, the conversation had expanded far beyond a single game. Sports talk shows opened with the incident, podcasts spent entire episodes debating it, and social media feeds were filled with slow-motion replays, expert breakdowns, and fan opinions. What had started as one controversial sequence was now shaping the national basketball conversation. Every major sports platform seemed to ask the same question: where should the line be drawn between aggressive defense and unnecessary contact? There wasn't a simple answer. Some basketball analysts argued that physical play has always been part of the WNBA and that every elite player eventually becomes the focus of tougher defensive strategies. According to that perspective, stars naturally receive extra attention because opposing teams know how dangerous they are. Others disagreed. They argued that while physical basketball is expected, officials must remain consistent when judging dangerous contact. Their concern wasn't about eliminating tough defense, it was about making sure every player can compete safely throughout a long season. As those discussions continued, reporters began asking players from around the league for their opinions. Some preferred not to comment directly, choosing instead to focus on their own teams and upcoming games. Others spoke more generally about respecting opponents while competing with intensity. One thing became obvious. The incident had sparked a league-wide conversation that extended well beyond the two teams involved. Meanwhile, attention also turned toward Sophie Cunningham. Her comments quickly spread across sports websites and social media, generating thousands of reactions. Supporters viewed her as someone defending a fellow competitor and emphasizing the importance of player safety. Critics believed that emotions can sometimes make already difficult situations even more complicated. Regardless of which opinion fans held, Cunningham's remarks ensured the discussion stayed in the headlines. Every television debate included her name. Every basketball podcast analyzed her comments. Every sports page asked readers what they thought. The story simply refused to disappear. At the same time, Alyssa Thomas also remained part of the conversation. Reporters continued asking about the play, while basketball analysts carefully reviewed the available footage to explain why opinions remained so divided. Some believed the contact occurred during a fast-moving basketball play. Others felt the officials had every reason to examine it closely. Those different interpretations kept fueling debate across the basketball community. Then another interesting trend appeared online. Instead of only discussing the controversial sequence itself, fans began comparing it to other physical plays from previous seasons. Videos showing similar moments circulated widely, with viewers debating whether different players had been treated consistently under the rules. That comparison introduced another major topic: consistency. Many fans argued that consistency matters just as much as the rules themselves. They wanted similar plays to receive similar decisions regardless of the teams, the players involved, or the attention surrounding a particular game. Whether people agreed or disagreed with that viewpoint, it became one of the biggest talking points across sports media. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark remained one of the league's biggest attractions. Every time she steps on the court, arenas fill with fans eager to watch one of basketball's brightest young stars. Television audiences increase, highlights spread rapidly online, and nearly every performance becomes part of a larger national conversation. That level of attention naturally places extra focus on every play involving her. Even routine basketball moments can become headline news when millions of viewers are watching from different perspectives. As the debate continued, former players shared valuable insights from their own careers. Many explained that physical competition has always been part of professional basketball, but they also stressed the importance of respecting opponents and maintaining control during intense games. Those experienced voices added balance to an otherwise emotional discussion. Instead of encouraging conflict, many emphasized communication, professionalism, and letting the league's review process handle controversial situations. Still, the online conversation remained incredibly passionate. Supporters of Clark defended her fiercely. Supporters of Thomas argued that one play shouldn't define an entire player's reputation. Others simply hoped the discussion would eventually return to basketball itself. The division between those viewpoints became increasingly clear with every passing hour. Another reason the story continued trending was the speed of modern social media. Short video clips often spread much faster than full-game context. A few seconds of footage can generate millions of views before complete explanations or official reviews become widely available. That reality makes patience difficult. Fans often react immediately. Creators publish opinions within minutes. Headlines appear almost instantly. Only later do longer analyses provide additional context. This cycle has become a major part of modern sports coverage, and this incident followed that exact pattern. While the public continued debating every angle, both teams were preparing for future games. Coaches emphasized focusing on practice, improving execution, and avoiding distractions. Players attempted to keep their attention on basketball rather than social media discussions. Even so, questions about the controversy continued appearing during interviews. No matter what topic reporters introduced, the conversation eventually returned to the same incident. Would the league issue further comments? Would future games between these teams carry extra intensity? Would officials approach similar situations differently moving forward? Those questions remained unanswered. And that's exactly why interest in the story kept growing. Because whenever a major sports controversy leaves important questions unresolved, fans continue searching for answers. As more interviews were scheduled and additional reactions began emerging from across the basketball world, anticipation surrounding the next chapter reached another level. Everyone wanted to know what would happen next. Would the focus finally return to basketball? Or was this only the beginning of an even bigger league-wide discussion? That's where the story takes another important turn, and in the next part, we'll examine what this controversy could mean for the players, the league, and the games still to come. As the days passed, one thing became impossible to ignore. This story was no longer just about one game, one whistle, or one controversial play. It had evolved into a much broader conversation about the future of the WNBA, player safety, officiating consistency, and the enormous spotlight that now follows every game involving Caitlin Clark. League officials understood that millions of fans were paying close attention. Every decision, every statement, and every review would be examined from every possible angle. In today's sports world, controversial moments don't disappear after the final buzzer. They continue through television debates, podcasts, social media, and countless online discussions. For the Indiana Fever, the priority remains simple: preparing for the next game while keeping the team's focus on basketball. Coaches emphasized discipline, communication, and execution instead of allowing outside noise to affect the locker room. Veteran players also encouraged teammates to stay focused on what they could control on the court. Meanwhile, other teams around the league were watching the situation carefully. Not because they were directly involved, but because every player understands that questions about officiating and physical play can affect everyone over the course of a long season. Former players continued offering thoughtful perspectives. Many acknowledged that basketball has always been a physical sport, but they also stressed that protecting athletes should remain a top priority. According to them, the challenge isn't eliminating competitive defense, it's making sure dangerous situations are handled consistently regardless of the players involved. That message resonated with many fans. Consistency. It became one of the most repeated words throughout the entire debate. Supporters from different teams didn't always agree about the specific play, but many agreed on one point: they wanted clear standards that would apply equally across the league. As public discussion continued, television analysts shifted their focus toward possible long-term lessons. Could this incident encourage improvements in officiating? Would future games be managed differently? Could better communication reduce some of the confusion that often follows controversial decisions? Those questions remain part of an ongoing conversation. Another interesting development was how quickly this story reached people who don't normally follow women's basketball. Major sports pages, national broadcasters, and online creators all covered the incident in different ways, introducing new audiences to the WNBA. While opinions varied, the increased attention also highlighted how much the league has grown in recent years. More fans are watching, more games are being discussed nationally, and every major moment now receives intense media coverage. That level of visibility brings both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, increased interest helps grow the sport. On the other hand, every controversial moment becomes magnified. Players understand that every action, interview, and reaction may become tomorrow's biggest headline. For Caitlin Clark, expectations remain incredibly high. Every game she plays attracts enormous attention, and opposing defenses naturally prepare carefully for one of the league's most recognizable young stars. That spotlight creates excitement, but it also means every hard foul, every missed call, and every emotional moment receives far greater scrutiny than usual. The same applies to other well-known players across the league. Their performances are analyzed in real time. Their interviews are clipped within minutes. Their reactions become viral discussions almost instantly. That's simply the reality of modern professional sports. Looking ahead, fans will likely continue watching future matchups between these teams with even greater interest. Rivalries naturally become more intense after controversial games, but everyone involved also understands the importance of maintaining professionalism and respect while competing at the highest level. Ultimately, the best response comes on the basketball court. Strong performances, great teamwork, competitive games. Those are the moments that help move the conversation forward. At the same time, the league will continue evaluating ways to improve officiating consistency, protect player safety, and maintain competitive balance. Those goals are shared across professional sports, and discussions like this often contribute to future improvements. Whether fans agreed with the officials, supported one player over another, or simply wanted clearer explanations, one fact is undeniable. People are paying attention to the WNBA more than ever before. Every game matters. Every storyline spreads quickly. Every decision is discussed by millions of passionate basketball fans. And perhaps that's the biggest takeaway from this entire controversy. The league has reached a point where every major moment becomes part of a much larger national conversation. Now the focus turns back to the court. Can the Indiana Fever build momentum? How will future matchups between these teams unfold? Will the ongoing debate about physical play influence officiating in the weeks ahead? Only the upcoming games can answer those questions. Until then, fans across the basketball world will continue analyzing every replay, discussing every interview, and debating every decision, because that's what passionate sports communities do. One thing is certain. This story has already become one of the defining conversations of the season, and the next chapter will be written not by headlines or social media posts, but by the players themselves every time they step onto the court. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the officials handled the situation correctly, or should the league take a different approach when it comes to physical play and player safety? We'd love to hear your perspective. If you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Alyssa Thomas, the Indiana Fever, or the WNBA as a whole, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more in-depth basketball coverage, game analysis, and the latest league updates. We bring you the biggest stories, trending debates, and detailed breakdowns as they happen. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thanks for watching, stay respectful in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video with another major basketball story.